We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
You're either in or you're out. Right now.
I want to gamble.
I never want to hear those words out of your mouth again.
Gambling is not your problem.
Has anybody ever told you before your bad luck?
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win.
Those were my mother's dying words.
When we go to gamble, we go to lose. Show me the money.
Let's get out of here, man.
Show you the money.
Honestly, let's just go. Let's go to Vegas.
Jerry, I want you to say it what you would mean it, brother. Show me the money!
It's the Sports Memory Vegas pregame show.
Good morning, Newman. We have week 8 of college football. We are officially past the halfway point of the college football season. Things are starting to take shape, and I wish we had a better week to talk about, but you got to play how the cards lay them. So we are going to try to get this through. Looking through this, I counted 7 double-digit favorites this week within the top 25. That is an absurd amount. But before we get into blowout week, which is what I'm calling this, let's get into last week because there were some, I'd say some shocking upsets.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of big news. So LSU beats Florida. They literally just ran counter Trey, the old Washington Redskins like running play. Like this is a classic staple of any playbook, and Florida just couldn't stop them. And they just ran it down their throats for like 280 yards rushing or something like that. It was absolutely insane. They broke like the LSU rushing record for like most rushing yards ever by a player like in a single game. And I just don't understand how Florida can't stop them. But Todd Grantham, there you go.
I mean, I was shocked, especially because everyone kind of knew that Coach O was dead man walking. I mean, the rumors were very loud.
Yeah,
I know
they
LSU
screwed on Sunday.
LSU screwed up my parlay. I had a 4-team parlay. The 3 other legs hit. I thought for sure LSU was just gonna turn over and die. That wasn't the case though. I mean, they went out big for Coach O. Which, I'm sure he likes seeing, and I'm sure Florida State fans like seeing that as well.
LSU undefeated when Coach O is an interim.
An interesting point. Certainly an interesting point. Let's go to the shock of the weekend. Purdue down to Iowa. Now, I was sure Iowa was going to lose this season. They don't have a good quarterback. They lack explosive plays. But I didn't think it'd be Purdue.
No, Iowa. So they're down probably their best corner. Their second best corner gets hurt during the game. But for whatever reason, Jeff Brom just understands how to beat Iowa's zone defense and force them into playing something they don't want to play. So they force them to play man. Nobody can cover David Bell. He's maybe the best wide receiver in the country. Has a good chance to win the Biletnikoff, all that kind of stuff. And they just continued to throw him the ball. Like, it was ridiculous. And because of that, like, this game wasn't close. It wasn't even like Iowa State in it. Like, Purdue absolutely outcoached them, outworked them. And just
Petrus was awful. Four interceptions. I mean, the quarterbacks in the Big Ten just are horrible this year.
Well, we told you that Spencer Petrus was going to throw some interceptions this year. We just didn't realize they were all going to be in one game.
Yes, for sure. Let's talking about quarterbacks. Let's go to Bo Nix pulling off the upset in Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas has actually been surprisingly consistent this year. Outside of some of the early matchups that they had where they struggled a little bit, they found a nice little groove here, and they managed to pull another upset off Arkansas. Arkansas's defense looks really bad. We thought it was decent earlier in the season, but apparently that was, them fooling us. So Auburn goes up there and just takes care of business. And
Does that mean I need to stop making fun of Bo Nix? Because I've ripped him almost every week. And
Let's see if he can beat Bama. Let's see if he can beat Bama.
No.
I mean, if they beat Bama, there's a whole different story. And this is a chaos kind of year a little bit already. We've seen it. So I mean, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah. Speaking of chaos and predicted chaos, my upset special hit: Baylor beats BYU. BYU was flirting with it. I haven't liked them all season. They've cost me money, but I almost made it back with picking Baylor last week. What are your thoughts on that game?
So BYU's quarterback got hurt. They've had some other injuries, but the real thing is Baylor has found an identity, and they're looking to really kind of gel under Dave Aranda, who is, being mentioned as a potential successor to Coach O at LSU, since he was the defensive coordinator back on.
No, didn't you hear it's going to be Mike Tomlin? Did you hear all those crazy rumors?
No, I didn't hear that one. But
yeah, there's zero chance. But Ryan Clark's trying to will it into existence. But
there's a lot of names. There's a lot of names in that running for that one. So
Lane Kiffin. Do we like Lane Kiffin for LSU?
They played today, I think, right?
They do.
So it's kind of interesting. Lane is potentially playing to get a new job, or at least get a bunch of money. Like, that's at worst case scenario. Your agent's
very good at making money.
Yeah,
he's very good.
Your agent's got to be like, look, you want my guy here, and then you can turn around and sell it to Ole Miss. Like, hey, pay us, or we're taking the LSU job.
Yeah, no, for sure. Sticking with the chaos theory here, what's going on with the Pac-12, man? Like, I thought for sure it was going to be Arizona State. I mean, predicting the Pac-12 is like, you might as well just close your eyes and throw a dart, right?
Yeah, nobody seems to be any good out there. Utah thumped them in this game. It was just Utah is probably the best coach team in the Pac-12 in general. They had some quarterback struggles early in the season. They've seemed to find a nice groove here. And, with the new quarterback and the team rallying around them with, some of the chaos and tragedy that's gone on around that program. So, I mean, I thought Arizona State was pretty well coached and all that stuff, but apparently Utah was just way better team here. And there they are. So
I'm done. I'm not betting a single Pac-12 game the rest of the year. I'm out. I'm freaking out of the Pac-12.
I mean, quietly here, Oregon has worked their way back into being potentially a college football contender, even with the one loss, because they have the really big win, right?
Yep.
So we'll see what happens, how that rest of that plays out. But
hot take: every team that gets into the college football playoff will have a loss. Hot take. We can get into that later into the season. I think Oklahoma loses, and I don't think Cincinnati gets in. So,
what about Georgia?
I think Georgia loses to Alabama.
Maybe.
I think they're both in. I think it's Oregon and Ohio State. But let's get a few other results kind of real quick here. Oklahoma State comes back on Texas. I mean, Oklahoma State's proving that they're a good
defense. Team. Yeah, Oklahoma State's defense is legit. So they gave Texas, more than they could handle here. Their offense is not as good as it normally is. Their quarterback has some question marks, so that's probably going to bite them at some point in time during the season. But for now, they keep it rolling.
Speaking of rolling, Georgia, they do look unstoppable right now. I took Kentucky to cover.
Backdoor cover. Backdoor cover. They did hit that backdoor cover. They were going
awesome.
They were rolling. They were rolling.
They had the
full offense out there. They scored a touchdown towards the end of the game and covered the backdoor there. But
speaking of backdoor, I think that's how Lane escaped Knoxville last week.
Well, he did get hit by a golf ball, so there's that.
He did. And nobody deserves it more.
Dude, that was insane. Like, they just had to stop a game for a half an hour and then continue to play it, even though the game was in the books. Like,
I mean, there was a mustard bottle. I want to know who carries around a mustard bottle.
Once you reach 58 minutes in a game, it is official. So if they have to end it, they can. So they could have just ended that game, but they chose not to. Then, they bring in Joe Milton, and he has a chance at a Hail Mary.
And runs out of bounds.
That guy's
The
not good.
hell?
That guy's not good. He needs to just be converted to like tight end or something, where he can use his athleticism and yeah, you should not.
He was
play
horrible
quarterback.
at Michigan. The change of scenery did not help.
He was a raw prospect coming out of high school. Like so he's from Florida. Like a bunch of the Florida schools were in on him, and Michigan comes down and selects him. Harbaugh selected him. Must have saw some athleticism that he liked, and was just like, I can coach him up. You know how that ego rolls, and no, you cannot.
Yeah. Speaking of rolling, NC State rolls Boston College. That was another upset game. I thought I've been down on NC State all year, and that finally cost me.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles were going to be able to keep this close, but they did not. So NC State's got they're pretty good in the trenches. They're typically well coached. Their quarterback's good, and Boston College is without their key quarterback. So I did expect some regression out of Boston College, but I thought maybe playing up there in Boston, they would have a little bit of a hard time. They did not.
It did not. Speaking of coach, or in this case, coachless, WASU upset Stanford. I didn't see this coming, but I think everyone saw their coach going that way.
I mean, Nick Rolovich just refused to get the vaccine, thought that winning games would potentially save his job, and it did not, because it is a state mandate and there's nothing they could do about it. So yeah, he's out, and when you're a state employee, you have to follow the state's regulation.
Yeah. Beyond that, I mean, I thought, again, Stanford may have been looking like the class of that side of the division, but I guess not.
I mean, Tanner McKee had played pretty well up to that point, but no.
All right, you ready to discuss blowout week?
Let's get to it.
Blowout week. First one is someone here in the chat is saying Cincy's making it as undefeated, but look at their strength of schedule. Indiana and Notre Dame were supposed to be teams that they could put on their resume. Both teams stink. So
Notre Dame still only got that one loss, and they're in the top 15. So
but they'll also look at who they've played. But anyway, this is Cincinnati.
No argument, but what
28
and a
do
half except for
points.
play who's on the schedule,
But guess what? That's not going to get you into the playoff, bub. And neither will a blowing out Navy. They play a team that's hard to play against. When I played in high school, my team ran the triple option, so I know it well. And I have a rule: you never pick against the triple option. 28.5 points is a ton. Cincinnati needs to put on a show, but Trevor and I are thinking Navy covers, because you just can't get up that many points when Navy has the ball that long. But you seem to think Cincy's going to cover.
Yeah, I don't think Navy's any good this year, and Cincinnati needs to win with style points. They seem to understand this. The way that they've been playing their opponents lately. Their defense is really good. Luke Fickell has played some triple option teams in the past. He understands how to stop it.
You can't stop it. You can only try to contain the triple option.
Yeah, but Navy's going to contain themselves too.
That's also true.
They're just, I'm sorry, they're not good. The academies aren't able to recruit at the level that they need to. That's why they run the triples, because it gives them some chance of winning some of these games because of the discipline of their players and all that stuff. But they're undersized at the end of the day. Cincinnati's recruiting at a level where they're close to a Power 5 team, if not, I mean, obviously better than a lot of them, as we can see this year. And to me, the fact that they understand that they need to win by style points says that they're going to be able to cover this 28.5.
Not so fast. I got another rule. Okay, so we got one rule: never bet against a triple option. Second rule I'm telling everyone today is you never bet Kansas, ever. I don't care if this spread was 99 points. I'm picking Oklahoma. I will never in my life pick Kansas to do anything in football. What say you, Newman?
38's a lot of points. 38.5. Yeah,
it'll be 35-0 at halftime. It will be 35-0 at halftime.
I understand.
And then Oklahoma has to decide what they want to do.
We watched the Tulane game for Oklahoma together. Tulane's actually not good, and they were able to cover a huge line like that and kept it way closer.
Tulane's second best jerseys in the country behind Coastal Carolina. Tulane, great jerseys, great helmets.
Yeah, but Kansas, Lance Leipold, from Buffalo, understands what they're going to need to do in order to keep this game close enough. Kansas is definitely going to try to sit on the ball. They're going to take the air out of the game. I expect Oklahoma to get out to a lead, and probably run away with this thing. But that's like a 28-point game. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna.
Well, you got to think. I mean, they're going to bench Caleb Presley when they're up 35-0.
Caleb Williams.
Williams, sorry, and then they are going to put in Spencer Rattler.
And he's going to throw a pick and let Kansas hang around and just toil it that close, because that's what's happened with Spencer Rattler so far. So give me the 38.5.
All right, I think you're wrong. You're wrong.
It's just smart to take that many points when you're.
No, it isn't, because you never bet Kansas. Now let's talk the Country Club game. Northwestern at Michigan. Michigan 23.5 favorites. Northwestern can't score. I just talked about how bad the quarterbacks are
they're really bad.
In the Big Ten. They have the worst quarterback. So I don't think Michigan's that good, but I can see this being a 31-6, 38-10, something like that.
Northwestern's not good. I expect Michigan to roll them. So give me Michigan. Yes. I'll give the 23.5 points because it's not 38.
Another 20-point Big Ten game, Illinois at Penn State. I freaking hate college football and gambling sometimes, because I think Clifford should be fine. If Clifford's fine, Penn State covers this easily. If he's not fine, Illinois can probably hang around. This was the toughest one for me out of this entire slate. I'm going Penn State because they have some electric wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah, I think Penn State definitely is going to be able to win this game pretty easily, but I just don't know if the quarterback situation with, Clifford maybe a little dinged up. Once they get a big enough lead, there's a chance they may just all right, we're going to put the backup in, let him get some reps kind of thing.
Their backup's horrible at Penn State. Like, Penn State might have a problem.
And if that's the case, 24.5 points, I think Illinois can cover that. So I'm taking Illinois to cover. It's really difficult on this one. This is definitely one of the harder ones for sure.
Yep. Here's my upset special of the week. Wake Forest almost lost to Syracuse. Wake Forest's best player is playing for Michigan State. Wake Forest is not good. I don't think Army is either, but I needed an upset, and this is the only one that I really saw in a pretty obvious slate of games. So give me Army in the upset because Wake Forest isn't any good.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the Wake train here.
Yeah.
They're a really well-coached team. Clawson's probably one of the best coaches in the country that nobody talks about. And because of that, I'm going to take them to cover the 3.5 points at Army. Army's going to have some trouble defending their style of offense because it's not something that they see very often. And I do expect Wake to win this game. So I will give the 3 points.
Perfect. Let's go to my third rule of the day that I'm telling everyone: never bet Graham Mertz. I don't think Purdue is that good. I don't think they're top 25 good. But again, I'm never betting Graham Mertz. So give me Purdue.
Yeah, I'm also on the Purdue train here. It's one of those where you might see like a difficulty here with coming off the big upset. Maybe there's a little bit of a letdown here, but they're ranked. Purdue's ranked. So
as an IU guy, that kills me.
Give me the 3.5 points at home. As an underdog against Wisconsin, because I agree with you. Graham Mertz is not good, and Wisconsin's probably going to have trouble. I don't care how good you are. David Bell is going to find a way to, wreck your life, Wisconsin. So there you go.
Purdue goes from Rondale Moore to David Bell. I mean, that's not bad.
Purdue's on coach watch here. There's a chance that their coach gets fired if they lose this game. It may not happen immediately. They're probably not gonna throw him out mid-season kind of thing, but I think there's a reasonable chance, given how poorly the team is playing and the expectations this team had going into the season, where it's like, this is just not working, and they fire their coach for Wisconsin.
Sure.
So
for sure. I had to blink 40 times when I saw this. Top 10 Oklahoma State is a touchdown dog. Iowa State has always been a pretender to me. Brock Purdy, speaking of bad quarterbacks, now Iowa State might win this game, but you give me 7 points to a top 10 team all day. I think this will be the best game of the day, by the way. If you're going to watch anything, it'll be this game.
Iowa State's actually really good. They had some slip-ups early in the season, and they've played some good teams and stuff, but they've played a lot better lately. I just don't trust Brock Purdy in a tough situation against that. Oklahoma State's defense is actually really good. So I don't trust him in that situation. I think he's going to throw at least a pick, and it's going to keep it close enough. They may win the game, but Oklahoma State is going to cover the 7 points.
Yeah. Another game that kind of made me blink here is Oregon. Again, a top 10 dog at UCLA. UCLA is a bit unpredictable. Again, I'm not betting this game because, again, hashtag never betting on Pac-12. But what do you see this going here? I think Oregon, and I think Oregon comfortable.
So Oregon definitely has the ability to let down, but they typically play better when. I mean, as an underdog, I expect them to play better. Bigger games, they tend to play better because they're more prepared for those. Sometimes they just lose focus or something against some of their other opponents. I don't know what exactly happens, but I don't expect UCLA to be able to beat them because I don't trust their quarterback. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's just not really that good. You can't rely on him to throw the ball. They have to be running the ball in order to be effective. Oregon can, shift that way. They've got Penei Sewell's brother playing linebacker over there. That guy can ball. They've got Kayvon Thibodeau, probably the number 1 pick in the draft coming up, if not top 5 pick. Back playing healthy. So Oregon's going to get.
I don't know about that. I think
win. I expect them to win.
So do I. Number 1 pick might be Kenny Pickett and your Pittsburgh Panthers. I am gonna Clemson. I can't believe this. Clemson is a underdog. Why? Because they can't score. Pittsburgh might have the best offense in the country right now, at least the best Power 5 offense in the country. I'm on the Kenny Pickett bandwagon. Give me HTP. And childhood Brandon is losing his mind right now.
Yeah, I'm on Clemson, getting 3.5 points here.
Clemson only has the better coach. They only have the better players. They have the better defense.
I mean,
but God, I'm not picking against Kenny Pickett. Rule number 4: not betting against Kenny Pickett.
I'm anti-Dabo in general because I don't think he's actually that good a coach. He's a hell of a recruiter. He can manage a program. He's very much so, built in that ilk. But he's basically just made one extremely good defensive coordinator hire in Brent Venables, and then he's made a good offensive coordinator, a couple good offensive coordinator hires, which basically all he did is promote the guys that were learning under the previous offensive coordinator that he had. So that being the case, I don't think he's actually that good a coach. He can't X and O it, but he does have some good coordinators work.
Pat Narduzzi is the worst coach in Power 5. Narduzzi is horrible. Narduzzi stinks.
Based on people getting fired already this year, I would say otherwise. But give me Clemson getting the 3.5 points here. I think that Pitt is due kind of for one of their letdown games.
They already had that. Western Michigan. They're going to win the ACC. They're going to win the ACC and have a loss to Western Michigan. They may win this game experience
by 3, but I'm getting 3.5 points, so I'm going to take Clemson.
Got it. All right. Let's talk Tennessee briefly. I think, again, when you have a big number like 25, what do you want your team to be able to do? Score. Tennessee can score. Yes. I think backdoor cover all day on this one. Give me Tennessee, and Alabama will win by 24.
Let me just check here. Have you heard anything about whether or not Hendon Hooker's playing in this game? Because if he is, then give me Tennessee to cover that 25.
Not.
I haven't heard it either. If he is, I do expect him to play. I think he's just a little bit dinged up. So give me Tennessee to cover 25 points there. I do think Alabama's good. They should roll, but we've seen that they're not quite as good as they normally are, and because of that, 25 points is too much.
Exactly. Air Force playing San Diego State. San Diego State is ranked, but these two teams really like to run the ball. This game it may put you to sleep. Give me the Air Force Academy. But again, this was a tough one. But just two teams that really, really run the ball a lot.
Yeah, give me San Diego State catching the 3 points as the ranked team. Just because they're ranked and they're pretty good. Their defense, San Diego State's defense is really good. This is going to be a low scoring game. What do you know what the over under is?
No, but take the under, whatever it is.
Yeah. I would skew towards that line as well.
This game may be done in under 2 hours because the clock won't stop running.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't want to talk too much about it. The Fighting Michelle Beatles. It's the only alumni I know from Texas San Antonio. They can score.
The Roadrunners, baby.
The Roadrunners. They can score, and Louisiana Tech might be one of the worst teams in the country.
So Louisiana Tech's actually, their offense has looked good at times this year, but UTSA actually kind of looks legit. So give me UTSA covering the 7 points.
Yeah. This is painful. I will be at this game. I'm leaving at 12:30 to go tailgate. I'm very excited. It's a beautiful fall day. It's going to be about mid 50s, high 50s.
Ooh, nice.
It's going to be beautiful. The play on the field is not. Anytime you have some of these bigger lines, just like I mentioned with Tennessee, you have to be able to score, right? And Indiana has a scoring problem. They're down their starting quarterback, who wasn't any good. Their backup quarterback's got a bum shoulder. That's not good. If he can't go, then they're going to have a true freshman, Donovan McCulley, who is a stud. But I mean, true freshmen don't compete against Ohio State. Ohio State is going to win. This could be 28 plus.
So normally my strategy, whenever Indiana is involved, is whatever Brandon says, you do the opposite. But today I am rolling with you. I don't know why it both says that we're Trevor, by the way. We should have fixed that. But yeah, give me Ohio State covering the 21. I think they've found a groove here offensively, and I don't think Indiana's going to be able to keep up.
No, again, so they haven't scored under 42 points in the last month. I think Indiana's defense is good. I think they hold them to under that, but this has got 38-3, 38-10 written all over it. But it's okay. I'll be drunk and have a great time. But speaking of who doesn't get drunk and have a good time, Notre Dame, worst tailgates I've ever been to. But they do have the rivalry game. They seem to have a rivalry game every week. The Trojans going east to South Bend. SoCal is a mess right now. Give me Notre Dame, but yuck. Feel dirty picking Notre Dame and Purdue. I picked Notre Dame and Purdue. Thank God Kentucky ain't playing.
And against Indiana. Against the spread.
You need to take a shower. Hose me down.
Yeah, I'm on Notre Dame too here. I just don't think USC is any good, and Notre Dame's going to be able to run the ball on them, and that's the end of that.
They better run. Don't throw the ball.
They have two really good running backs. They have their offensive line's starting to gel a little bit more. I expect Notre Dame to roll. So
you've heard me. I feel dirty. Are you picking Jimbo to cover against South Carolina?
I sure am.
There we go. Look at us in the face of money. We're doing this in the face of money because we are doing all the things that we don't like doing. South Carolina is really bad. If relegation was a thing, South Carolina would have been gone a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, they just hired a new head coach, Beamer, the son of the famous Beamer. There, he's going to be able to, get this program a little bit more stable, but it's going to take time. And at this point, they're not ready. Texas A&M recruits at a way higher level. They've got really good defensive linemen. Leo, that kid, is probably a first-round draft pick. They've got some good, solid tight ends. Their offensive line tends to play well. Jimbo understands how to coach offense. And they found a little bit of a groove here at quarterback. I don't expect South Carolina to be able to move the ball at all, in all honesty.
No.
And because of that, I'm taking Texas A&M covering the 19.5 points.
Speaking of who can't move the ball, Miami. NC State, I've been trashing all year. They showed me that I shouldn't last week. So, this is me more picking against Miami than I am for NC State. I don't think NC State's very good. But they'll win this game by a touchdown, maybe 10 points. This spread is shockingly low. Yeah.
I'm confused as to how NC State's not like a double-digit favorite in this game.
I wouldn't say double-digit, but I think every bit of 7 to 9 points for sure.
I think it could be double digits, in all honesty. NC State is a much better team. Miami is. It kind of looks like they're giving up, in all honesty. I think there's a good chance that Manny Diaz gets fired. And
pretty crazy. There's no good Florida teams. Isn't that wild?
No, Florida might fire their coach. Miami might fire their coach. Mike Norvell might have the safest seat in the house. And
Florida is a mess, bro. Florida is just a sinking ship, just like the state itself.
Well, Manny Diaz was throwing some shade at Florida State, and he's pulled some antics like showing up at like recruiting clinics that they were running and stuff like that, like with their guys outside, like trying to do shit. And he called Florida State, before the season started, some of their commitments and all this fake momentum. Well, Manny, what kind of momentum do you have? Lose your job momentum? I guess so.
I love it.
About to happen.
I love it.
It's I don't know. It's kind of crazy that a guy's so focused on Florida State that before their biggest game of the season, opening day against Alabama, what does he have? What does he have going on? They're literally playing the chop. Like they're playing the war chant at Miami's practice.
That's rent free, bro.
To Alabama. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's rent free. That's absolutely living rent free. All right, before we go here, speaking of huge favorites, is Florida State covering against UMass? 35.5 points. Can you guys score 36 points?
No, we're going to score that many points. I don't think we're going to cover that many points. Here's why. I think this is finally.
You guys haven't scored. Well, you've scored 38 in the first game.
No, I think Florida State will be able to do whatever they want offensively with their starters in. The problem is that I think that this is going to be the game where they finally, get out to a lead to enough where they can do some other stuff and work on some stuff. They do have a big game coming up next week. So I expect them to kind of go into cruise control third, fourth quarter. And because of that, they won't cover the line. But I do expect them to win. God, hopefully. And if they do win, it will be one entire calendar month that Florida State has not lost a game, in which Florida and Miami have lost multiple. So
there we go. Hey, you take wins where you can get them.
Great for recruiting.
Especially in that, UMass for sure. All right.
And then we get Halloween weekend at Florida State. Like, there's not a better place to be on earth.
I disagree. That is Bloomington, and I will be there in 2 hours.
Yeah, you haven't been to Florida State. Trust me.
All right, Newman. Well, it's a pleasure as always. Everyone, go make some money. We've been killing it. I don't know if you've been publishing our picks.
I feel good about this week. Even though we have all these blowouts on the schedule, I feel pretty good. So
go make some money because you really won't be watching that much football. So if you are, you might as well be making some money off it. Until next time, Newman, take it easy, bud.